Today we talk with Tanya Palacios. Tanya had a long career as a recruiter and was a competitive bodybuilder before starting her real estate journey. She had an astounding 13 transactions in her first year, and that's continued to grow in year 2. She has won the Rising Star Award and has earned a spot on the Associate Leadership Council in her organization. She serves others in the brokerage and helps mentor new agents. Stick with us to learn how she did it.
Welcome to Unlocking Real Estate, My First Commission, where we dive into real stories, big wins, and early lessons learned from highly successful rookie real estate agents and brokers. This is the series where we explore how real estate transforms lives, one home at a time, by sitting down each week with a new agent or broker who has found incredible success in their first year. Your hosts are instructors and leaders at Colibri Real Estate School, one of the largest real estate educators in the nation, where we focus on helping people like you get started or find continued success in their careers.
Hello, and welcome to Unlocking Real Estate, My First Commission. I'm your host, Tina Lapp. I've been in real estate education for over 30 years, helping individuals enter and thrive in their real estate careers. We are here today with Tanya Palacios. Tanya, will you take a moment to introduce yourself, where you live, and what company you're with?
Absolutely. I am Tanya Palacios. I'm with Keller Williams. I joined them in February 24, shortly after I got my license. In Puyallup, Washington, which is south of Seattle, Washington.
Wonderful. Thanks for being with us today. I'm looking forward to this conversation. Let's start with kind of the very beginning. What were you doing before you got into real estate?
I was a corporate recruiter for 24 years. So I worked in many different facets of recruiting. I ended my career working in more corporate recruiting for RPO type models, where I would work for one company and then they would contract out to other companies and I would be like the face for that company. And then, I went into contract work, probably in 2021, 2022. It was risky because you don't know when it can end. And then in 2023, it was, there was a huge tech layoff. Everybody was laying off, and I was impacted by that.
Wow.
And then I have, the story on how I got into real estate. So.
Yeah. And I will say, based on your background, you had a lot of interactions with people. Obviously, you were the face,
absolutely.
You had like a lot of interactions with people. I'm sure that has helped with your real estate career, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes. But
Absolutely.
So tell me, like, here's your situation. What inspired you to pursue a career in real estate? Like, how'd that happen?
Yeah, so I was a competitive bodybuilder for 9 years. I did the pro level up for 5 years. And I was working, I lead with that because I go to the gym a lot. And I was working out with a girlfriend of mine who also had competed. And I had just went through my layoff, and she was a realtor. And I would just ask her, like, how's your day going? What do you have planned today? And I was like, I could totally do that job. And she's like, it's really hard. You don't know when you're getting your next check. And she was being honest with me.
Yeah.
And we were really broke. We had no money. My husband was furloughed. It was still when they were furloughing people shortly after COVID, because it was early 23. And I was on unemployment making, nothing, because I went from $150,000 a year to $1,000 a week, which, I mean, that's a lot to some, but to me, it was a big difference.
Yeah.
And I didn't have the money for the materials. And honestly, the 3 books scared the hell out of me. I was like, that is a lot of reading, and I hate reading, and I hate studying, and I hate testing. So I was talking myself out of it. And then my husband got like a small bonus that was exactly $500, and the books were $480. And I was like, I think God's trying to help me something. So I went for it, and I did it in 12 weeks, because once I got into it, I couldn't stop. Like, I just loved it so much. I would have to force myself to stop studying after 3 hours a day, because anything over 3 hours a day, your brain's just mush. It's just so much information. Yeah. And it's a 6-month course. I did it in 12 weeks. During that 12 weeks, I got a contract job. So now I'm working full time, finishing my studying. So I took about a month to go do my test. Took my test. I missed it by 1 point. I got a 69. You have to have a 70. And I took it 4 days later, passed it, all while working full time. So I started working full time in July, and I got licensed September 1st. And then I started with a small boutique firm. I won't mention the name.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel like that firm was giving me what I needed to be robust in my business, because I knew that I was going to do this. Like, there was no stopping me. And once I put my mind to something, I accomplish it, which is why I did bodybuilding for so long, because that's a disciplinary sport. And so I ended up leaving the boutique firm in February 24. I had my first transaction go mutual in December of 23. So licensed September 1st, first mutual December, middle of December, which was someone from my sphere of influence, which was a person from the gym.
Yeah.
And then joined Keller Williams in February, got the tools, techniques, and everything I needed, hired a coach to mentor me, and it just took off. And just built and built and built. So
that's awesome. So let's dive into some of that a little bit more. Like, you were taking classes. Did you do them online?
I did. I did it online. Yeah.
And so you were going through classes online, 12 weeks, and you got a full-time job during that. So when were you finishing the classes?
Yeah.
Doing it at night?
Hopefully they never see this. So in recruiting, your work speaks your volume. So if you're not hiring people, then you'll be looked at. If you're filling your jobs and you're doing the work, they leave you alone.
Yeah.
So I would fill my jobs, and then I had two computers. I had one here and one here, and I would work a little, and then I'd study, and then I'd work a little, and then I'd study, and I'd just do that all day. And then I'd spend a few hours. I work like 6 to 3, 6 to 2, get up at 3:30 in the morning, hit the gym, or I put the hours in it, and I'm just a great multitasker.
I love it. That's awesome.
I just made it happen.
you made it happen. You did.
I made it happen. I did what I had to do. Yeah.
And congratulations to you. I do want to pause on the fact that you tested the first time and you didn't pass. You were super close, but didn't pass. And the fact that you didn't give up speaks volumes that, nobody cares what you get on the state exam, right?
No,
it doesn't.
No, exactly.
Once you pass, and nobody cares what the score is.
Right.
And I think the fact that you had the tenacity and the drive to go back and say, I'm going to do this, just fantastic. So congratulations. And I want people to know, it happens sometimes, right?
Oh, I mean, when I was sitting in the H&R Block office, there was one person in there, their 7th time, and I'm like, maybe it's not for you, that's a lot of money. I mean, you have to pay every time you don't pass, but the state exam was the easy part. It was the national exam that I missed by 1 point. So I passed the state the first time, but the national I missed by 1 point. But it was, and I really like how they print out and tell you the percentages on where you ranked in each area, so you knew what to go back to and study for. So I could just brush up on the areas I scored under 70% in, and then go back and retest. So, and congratulations,
you did it. You did it for sure. Obviously some challenges along the way, but you at the end of the day, you were in real estate. How long did you stay at the first boutique brokerage before going over to Keller Williams?
So I started with the boutique brokerage September 1st, 2023, and I joined Keller Williams February 2024.
Okay.
So
less than 6 months.
Yeah. Less than 6 months. Yeah.
That's awesome. So tell me, what were your expectations going into your first year?
I was going to do 12. That was my goal. Yeah.
All right. And you beat it.
And I beat it. Yes.
Yeah.
So with Keller Williams, they have an economic model. So when I met with Pam Ranch, who's one of the owners of the ranch network that I'm with, she was like, well, where'd you get 12 from? Well, I also have an associate's in accounting. And so I just did a quick budget and I'm like, I need to be at this. And I know that your gross income in real estate is not your gross income on W-2. So I want to make that clear to anyone that's watching this.
Yes.
Because you have a lot of expenses.
Important.
You're building a business. You have to pay yourself. You have to pay taxes. You have to pay your overhead. There's so much to pay.
Mm-hmm.
But 12 would be a comfortable number to give me about $100,000 net, and a little about 150 gross, approximately. And so we did the economic model and she goes, yep, you are right. You need to be at 12 to hit your goal. And so that's what I set it at. And then this year I set a new goal and didn't reach the goal, but I'm damn proud for how far I did make it for a really tough year in real estate. So
absolutely. And having, I think it was 13 transactions your first year and 20 in your second year, like that's fantastic. And I have no doubt that'll continue to grow. So how long after obtaining your license did you close your first transaction?
We closed in January, but I went mutual within the first 90 days.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And so when you found yourself newly licensed, how'd you market yourself? How'd you create credibility? Was it ever an issue that you were a new agent?
No, in fact, I would call myself out sometimes. And then a friend of mine was like, no one needs to know you're new. And I remember during that first transaction, I was like, sorry, I'm new. And she goes, oh, I would have never, the agent on the other side said, I would have never guessed you were new. You handle yourself so well and you talk so well and you know how to deal with people. And I was like, no one needs to know I'm new. So I quit telling people I was new. But I think that was more of an insecurity because there's so many forms and so many legalities and how do you handle certain objections? And there's just a lot, but I had to look at it. I'm very fortunate I come from a recruiting background because you have those same type of things you deal with when you're dealing with VPs, directors, and they're objecting a candidate you're presenting to them, for example, or you're trying to convince someone to take a job or take an offer, so it's there's a lot of similarities. So I'm not a big social media person. And when I first joined the industry, everyone's like, in fact, when I became a pro bodybuilder, I got rid of all social media. So I had zero social media for 6 years. Wow. And then when I got my license, I cringed at setting up Facebook and Instagram. I was like, well, everyone says I need it. So, but I've never used that for business. I post my activity on there, but I'm starting to dip that direction, but it's not the core of my business. So I'm just now getting into my branding and my marketing. Okay. So I just paid because you have to lead with revenue. So in your first year, you're still building, right? I mean, you got to buy your signs, you got to buy this, you got to buy that. But I just paid for branding earlier this year, just had my signs refaced, just now working on buyer and seller packets that are branded to myself. Like, it's a lot. It's very backwards from what most people do, but I tell myself based on relationships, and it's all about building the relationship and getting to know my clients on a personal level, and then the business will come. So,
yeah. So you talked about contracts and like you didn't know, you weren't sure. Did you have a mentor, someone that you could call? How'd you get support?
Yeah, so a lot of brokerages will require that you be in their productivity program or their mentorship program. So the first boutique firm had a coaching program, and I got guidance from that, and that was helpful. Yeah. But when going to Keller Williams, at that point, so when I left the boutique firm, I was having a conversation with a top agent at Keller Williams, and I really wanted him to help me execute and convert. So I was already halfway, 3/4 of the way there, but I needed help with the conversion. So he had 10 years experience. Of course he knows what he's doing, but it didn't make sense to pay him plus pay the boutique brokerage and all my fees that I was paying, you know what I mean? Yeah. So I thought, why not just join the office he's at? But I had like 5 meetings before I made the jump because I'm very loyal. So I wanted to make sure it made sense. So that he was the reason that I really joined Keller Williams. And then after meeting with Pam Ranch and just how warm and inviting she was, and like I said, I had 5 meetings with her before I joined. Like culture was very important to me, and the training. So because in this industry, and actually in anything you do in life, what you put in is what you'll get out. So if you're not putting the work in or the activities in, then you're not going to get the results.
Yeah, makes sense.
So he helped me we'd have biweekly meetings and go through steps, and it's almost like an accountability partner, right? So, following all the steps, all the touch points, how to do an event, and I just ran with it. So
that's great. That's great. So you said when you got started, social media wasn't really a thing for you. Like, how did you find your first several clients?
50% of my business in my first year was referral. So I just had conversations with people. It's so random. I'll be at the nail salon getting my nails done, and it just comes out. I just word vomit.
That's good. You just start telling people. That's great. I love it.
So I guess being a recruiter, I'm always talking about, what do you do for work? Oh, this is what I do. And like, I have a client now, and I'm like, how did we even talk about real estate? Like, we are in the middle of buying a home, and I'm like, I don't even know how it came up at the gym. I only know him from the gym. And he's like, he goes, we don't even remember how it came up, but it just comes up naturally. So, what I tell a lot of my friends, because they ask the same question, like, where are you getting all this business from? And it's just really, it's all about networking, putting yourself in the right places at the right time, and having conversation. So if you don't open your mouth and communicate, no one's going to ever know what you do. And you got to be proud of what you're doing and proud of what you're building, because you want to show that excitement to your community and to your sphere of influence and to everyone that's involved in your life.
So are there things that you're involved in outside? Like, I love it. You're getting your nails done. You're at the gym. Are there other things in the community that you've gotten involved in that have helped you connect and network?
I would say most of my business is from my sphere of influence, and then their referrals. My husband works for the city, so he will also put a word in for me, and I've gotten a couple from him through the city, and then those people have referred me business. So it's a domino effect, right? You do good for one, and then you give them a positive experience, and then they refer you, and then that person refers you. Like, it just keeps going down the line. And that's what I'm building now going into year 3. It's like, it's just starting to roll. Mind you, I still have to work my tail off and do the work and get the coaching and the guiding. But I think that's where a lot of people go wrong, is they don't do the activities. They just think it's all you're just going to sit there and someone's going to pick up the phone and call you. And maybe in year 10 that does happen, but not year 1 through 5. Like, you have to really grind. I mean, I told my husband when I got in real estate, I'll see you in 3 years. Especially when I was working full time and doing real estate full time, I was probably putting in close to 70, 80 hours a week. But to me, it didn't feel like that, because I was doing what I enjoyed, it
makes a big difference when you're enjoying what you're doing every day.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So how do you plan your day, your week? Like, do you schedule things? Do you block time to work on specific activities? What's your approach?
Yeah, so I'm very ADD. So that's a work in progress, which is why I have a great coach that's helping me now with that. Because I keep everything in my head, which is a very dangerous place to keep it. So now I'm just taking out of my head, throwing it on my calendar. Like, I have Christmas cards I need to send out. So I've got to dial in my database so I can tag them correctly. And I'm realizing through this exercise, I am missing some things. So So now I'm doing a lot of manual work, but next time it'll be streamlined. So,
Yeah.
I will time block on my calendar, but I am not an expert at that. And I am a work in progress for sure. So like I know in my head what I need to do, and I've got a list in my head, but I'm working on getting it out of my head and onto my calendar. So time blocking, color coding, all that, highly recommend. It's the direction I'm heading.
That's great. That's great.
Yes.
Progress. And is it helping? Is it helping?
It is helping. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
And so you've found most of your clients networking, people referred to you. Do you do any other marketing or not really? Like
not really
postcards or nothing like that. It's really just,
I mean, if I think back to like, where did I get my listings? Like I'm heavy on the buyer side and my goal is to get heavier on the listing side. Yeah. But if I think back to my listings, I mean, I've got sphere of influence. I've got one I met at an open house. And then I've got one from a sign, like they walked by and saw my sign. Okay. I am doing all the activities of the golden letter, mailing letters out to absentees. I do send just listed postcards, just sold postcards. So I do all those activities, but I've not seen a return from that yet. But that doesn't mean I don't do it. It means you keep doing it because eventually that's going to pay off. I hold a Santa Paws event every year. We just did our second annual one where we hire a Santa Claus and I hire a photographer and we use our clubhouse in our community and I open it up to my community because I'm trying to farm that, and I open it up to my sphere of influence as well. The event this time booked out in 2 weeks. Wow. And we still had like 3 weeks left to market it. So next year we'll open it up for an additional hour. But this is the second year we've done it and I didn't get anything last year. I mean, I got a lot of appreciation, but no business from it. But this year I have a listing consultation and a buyer consultation on Tuesday from the event. So it takes time. And now they're starting to recognize myself and my lender, and they're like, oh yeah, it's them. And then her and I delivered 88 pumpkin pies to people's porches. So most realtors will do an event and have people come to them, but you have to really set yourself apart from everyone else. If everyone's doing an event, it's just another event. Where if I'm providing value where someone just has to open their front door and there's their pumpkin pie, that's going a lot further and people appreciate it. So we did 13 cities in 3 days and delivered 88 pies, and we definitely will do it differently next year. It was a lot of work. I was like, all right, I'm going to hire my kids to go porch drop them. But we have a lot of good conversation too. So it's like, we may just divide and conquer and whatnot. Because I don't have a territory either. And that's also, you can't say no to business. You know, so, I mean, I just drove 3 hours for a buyer, so. You do what you got to do. And, absolutely.
That's amazing. And, a lot of our listeners are individuals who are thinking about a career in real estate or maybe recently licensed and looking for ideas and motivation. And, it sounds like you're doing a lot of things. You got to find the thing that works for you.
Absolutely. And you need to surround yourself with people that are better than you, not people at your level. So if I only hung out with new agents, I wouldn't be where I'm at. So I'm getting mentored by people that are top producers. And now I can say I'm a top producer because I learned from the best. So you have to be better, you have to surround yourself around people that are better than yourself.
Yeah, that's great advice in real estate and in life, right?
Absolutely.
So do you have any memorable or funny experiences from your first year that maybe you were still learning, did something wrong? Like, we all screw up from time to time, right?
I can't think of anything major that I flopped on because I always had that mentorship, you know what I mean? But I have had weird transactions. So I've dealt with some interesting situations that agents of 20, 25 years haven't even dealt with yet.
Yeah.
Like investment buyers who can buy a home because they have Bitcoin and they're cashing in their Bitcoin into cash. Like I've got 2 clients like that.
Wow.
Yeah, I've got, manufactured homes on leased land. Those are always tricky. I've not dipped into the whole investment piece. But I feel like that's coming my way. I've double-sided a deal that's legal in our state. Most agents would shy away from that.
Yeah.
But it's case-by-case scenario, and I was successful at that. But that's hard because you have to be very neutral and you can't give advice. So I've had a lot of interesting situations, a lot of fires I've had to put out, a lot of challenging agents.
Yeah.
So,
I've heard that for sure before.
Yeah. So
any particular client interaction that you've worked with that was particularly touching or that stands out to you in any way?
you're going to make me tell this and I'm going to get emotional. So I had every client situation is emotional and touching because I really wear my heart on my sleeve, and no transaction is a transaction to me. It's about the relationship and what I'm fostering. The rest I don't even care about because it's changing people's lives. So I had, excuse me, I had a listing in Olympia, and it was my client's, it was one of the baseball dads. My son played baseball, so like I'm connected in that area too.
Okay, yeah, good.
So his mom passed away like a year prior, and he was just holding onto the house, and he needed to sell it, but he just wasn't ready yet. So I went into that meeting with a sensitive heart and as a partnership and as a project manager, because you're never going to walk into a listing and it's going to be ready to go. There's always going to be something that needs to be done. So you really have to become a project manager. And in this case, the whole house was smothered in wallpaper. The carpet was bad, and the whole thing needed to be done. So then I coordinated contractors. They were able to come in, remove all the wallpaper. I think they textured and painted over it. Like they did a phenomenal job. You couldn't even tell there was ever wallpaper. They did new carpet. And then my seller, which was the son, was like, he just kept going with the updates, and he did all the vanities and the mirrors and the light fixtures and everything. And anyway, we get this house ready. It's a Rambler on 5 acres. Great property. Yeah. And we decided to list at, I think, $669 for that area. That was a competitive price. And we got an offer on day one, and it was contingent, which for those that don't know what that means, it's, they have to sell their house before they can be out of that contingency. And so I advised taking it. I said, it's not a bad idea to take it because people can still show it. And I listed it Thursday. The offer came in Friday. We signed it Friday. And then I held an open house Saturday. The open house we had like 7 groups come through. And I'm like, we have a contingent offer, but we're open to other offers. Well, everyone else was contingent too. And then that night I got an all cash offer. So our contingent offer was $685 because they were going to take everything in the barn. So there was an 1,800 square foot barn as well. And it was full of like a tractor and tools and just full of stuff. My seller he just was done with it. He didn't want to get rid of everything and have to go to the dump and do this and do that. And it was good stuff if that someone could use if they turned it into a farm. So, so we were happy with that offer because we didn't have to worry about the barn. We didn't have to worry about the tractor. Like $685, it's $15,000 over asking. This is fabulous. Well, then we get an all cash offer in for $650. And I was like, at least give us our asking price, right? Because now we have work to do if you don't want the stuff in the barn. And the agent was like, no, we'll take the stuff in the barn, but we'll give you just your asking price. And it was all cash. And I just, in my gut, I was like, I just feel like the first offer is the one we need to stick with. And of course, the seller gets to make the decision. Yeah. But I knew about both situations, and Anyway, fast forward, we keep the contingent offer. Their house goes under market within 5 days. So we're like no longer contingent.
Right.
We did a 28-day close on a contingency, which was amazing.
Yeah.
So it was the emotional part. So I go to meet them to give them their keys. And the agent said, we were praying that this would work. And I said, I was also praying. And we talked about our Christian faith. And I feel like every transaction, I'm a Christian, so every transaction that I do, there's a faith story somewhere in there. So I really do feel that God puts people in my life. And I know not everyone has faith in religion, and that's not what this is about. But that's what I love about building my own business, because I can make my business about that.
Absolutely.
So it's amazing. So I would say that's like one story that just always stays true to my heart, because I went with my gut. I went with what felt right. And then I learned that they were a family of 4 and their kids are going to grow up on the farm. And it was just amazing. It was so good. Yeah. But every transaction has a story. And some I'm like, thank God I'm done with this one.
But you're changing people's lives. I mean,
Absolutely.
like, it is a very personal, very emotional transaction. And you've got, sometimes you're, their psychologist on top of everything else, I'm sure, just helping with all of this. And it is emotional. And
it is.
Yeah. And you seem to be a great fit for sure. So
thank you. I appreciate that.
That's a great story.
Thank you.
So what's next for you? Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
So going into 2024, I made my goal 26. I wanted to double my business. So once I got to like third quarter and I started talking to my coach, he goes, this is what you need to do to make it happen. I'm like, yeah, it's not happening. Let me be honest. So I was like, if I could get to 20, I'll be happy. And I'm at 18. I have 2 in escrow. So that's why I said 20, because they are set to close middle of the month. But never count it until it closes. So I could end up at 18, but I'm still proud of that. So if I end at 20, then I will have grown my business 65%. And looking at that, the average person grows their business by 20% a year. So I'm still above average. So I'm super happy with that. Next year, I'm going to be more realistic, because I need to decide if I'm going to hire an admin to help me. But I don't feel like that's necessary until I'm consistently doing at least 2.5 to 3 transactions a month. Which I've already got 1 for January and an offer out for a second in January, and 2 more buyers looking for January. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm kind of heading that direction. But my goal is either 30 or 36 for year 3. So each year I set a goal, and then I reevaluate. And I'm hoping by year 5, I'm just going to keep going. Like, I have no desire to like get my managing broker's license and build a team. Like, I don't have a desire to do that. I don't have a desire to be a millionaire, which, everyone strives for that. But I have a family and a 19-year-old and a 17-year-old and a husband. Like, I don't want my life to be so wrapped up in my work that I get lost in that, because that easily happened with bodybuilding, and I had to bring balance to my life with that. But really, anything you do that you have a passion for, you can get lost in it. So, so anyway, my 5-year plan is that I'm doing less open houses and less of the grinding and more of the managing my business and systemizing everything. I would say that's my biggest goal, is to work towards systemization. So.
I love it. And I love your goals and your vision. And some of that is being available for your family. Like, that's a good life goal, right? Like,
absolutely.
That's a great one. That's a great one. So we're going to go into our lightning round. I'm going to ask just a couple of questions, quick answers. Perfect. First thing that comes into your mind. The first thing I'm going to ask is there a book or a podcast that you've read or listened to that you would recommend to the audience, and why?
Okay, I am not a reader, so I try to do podcasts.
Yeah.
And now I'm doing audibles. I actually started listening to Mel Robbins' Let Them.
Okay.
And
I
that
don't know that one.
is super, like, that's just a good life book. Like, it really
Okay.
teaches patience and don't let other people impact your decision and how you feel. Like, that's a great book. And then obviously the Keller Williams MREA book is really great. It helps with models, really helps me with my growth. And each time you read it, you're at a different place in your career. So it affects you differently each time you read it, which is great. Any book that can do that is powerful.
Yes.
And you can get that on
great.
Amazon. So that's great.
Yeah, great recommendations. I always hear, like, I rarely hear the same thing twice. It is so awesome. I think I'm going to create a list from these. Such great ideas.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we had a time machine and you could go back to the day you started this journey in real estate, what advice would you give yourself, or what might you do differently?
Do more research on the brokerage you choose. That would be,
yeah.
I chose off heart and small community feel. I didn't realize that becoming a realtor, you're building your own business. So when I first started, it felt like I was an employee. Yeah. And it took a girlfriend of mine to be like, you're not an employee. Like, she had to like really open my eyes up to it. And then it wasn't until I joined Keller Williams where they're all about you building your own brand, you building your own business. Yeah. So my advice, if I could go back to myself, would be like, do more. I mean, I met with 4 brokerages, so I thought I did my homework, but definitely do more work, start surrounding yourself, having meetings with individuals that are high producers, if they'll take the time with you. I did that. That was helpful. Yeah. But just know your direction and know your people.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. And I love that you pointed out, because so many people do start in real estate and not realize you own your own business here. And right. You are like, and you went to school for 12 weeks and now you're a business owner. And, you know, it's just a beautiful story, and it's scary, but also pretty rewarding too.
Absolutely. For sure. Definitely.
So if you could have dinner with one person, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
Probably Gary Keller, honestly. And I say that because I've been to like family reunion, and he's just a genuine man who like pours into his people, and he's just a wealth of knowledge. So when I went to family reunion for the first time, I told Pam, I'm like, I'm going to speak at family reunion one day. And that's my goal, is to just, but you've got to do something powerful. Like, you've got people that pick YouTube as their main source, and they're doing $100 million a year in real estate. Like, those are the people that are getting in front of Gary. So, so I got to find what that niche is and go for it.
Yeah.
So,
All right. Well, that'll be fun. I've been to family reunion. It's been a couple
I love
years.
Family reunion. It's in Atlanta
amazing.
This year. So, or in February. Yeah, it's going to be in Atlanta.
Amazing event. So tell us, what did you do at work yesterday? What was your day like?
Oh, yesterday. What was yesterday? Yesterday was Thursday. I think yesterday was a light day. Let's go to Tuesday. I'll tell you what I did Tuesday.
That's fine. No one will know the difference. Tell us about Tuesday.
Tuesday was key giving day. So it's closing day. So closing day is always exciting, because you're going to meet your buyers and this was one of my Bitcoin buyers. So very young, 21-year-old, buying his first home. 3 hours away from where I'm at. I want to protect his privacy. So his parents helped him, because Bitcoin's not a real job. So you can be a millionaire, but if you want to finance anything, it doesn't count, because there's so much risk to it. So we had to do a co-sign situation, but his parents were there, and I did pictures and handed him the keys, and it was just so rewarding just to see the smiles on their faces, give them their closing gifts, give hugs, and just appreciate them giving me the opportunity and them trusting me with their young child who's buying a home, right? So, closing day is always fun and rewarding. And then, I was really just working on just finalizing things for my upcoming year. I'm kind of slowing down right now, but if I go back to yesterday, it was just kind of, I'm just going to swear, it was a tough show. Like, it was, everything happened, everything that could happen did happen with transactions that are currently in process. And then when I would call someone, they were having the same type of day. So it was just kind of like that for everyone yesterday.
Yeah.
But we get through it. I mean, at the end of the day, when you have things that come up in a transaction, you have to find solutions and become a problem solver. I mean, that's what this is all about, is you're solving people's problems. So,
yeah. So you had a rough day, but the day before you had a beautiful day, right?
Oh, yes.
Like, so there's the ups and downs, there are ebbs and flows for sure.
Absolutely.
Well, Tanya, we're going to start wrapping things up. Any final tips and tricks for listeners and aspiring real estate agents?
No, just follow your dreams. If this is what you want to do, then you have to put the work in. You can't expect joining a team and you're going to get leads fed to you. I've told myself when I got in this industry, I will not purchase leads, and I've never purchased leads. It's a waste of money when you're capable of doing the work yourself. So if you're not capable of doing the work yourself, then it's probably not the industry for you. I mean, I'm just a hard, honest, tough love, right? Like you have to put the work in, and that's the biggest thing I hear from agents not producing is, well, I don't like talking to people. I don't like door knocking. I don't like doing open houses. I mean, you got to do the grunt work, roll up your sleeves, get dirty, and put the work in. Because if you don't put the work in, then the rewards won't come. I mean, unless you're like born into a family and every situation's different.
Sure.
But a lot of people come from serving or recruiting. If you have a recruiting background, every recruiter I know that's gone into real estate is thriving. So it's really a very transitional career going from recruiting to real estate. It's very similar. So.
Yeah. Great advice. Tanya, where can listeners find you, follow you? Like, can they reach out? Do you have a social media presence that they can check out?
I do. So my Instagram handle is at Tanya Sells, SELZ Homes. So they can find me on there. So I'm trying to grow that presence on Instagram, but that's where I put a lot of my activity with my working out, my real estate, my dogs, my family, all that. Yeah. You got to mix personal with professional so people can get to know you as a person. So also valuable advice. Well, Tanya, thank you for your time. Love your story. Wishing you much continued success, and really appreciate the discussion today. Thank you. I appreciate your time as well. Thank you so much.
Thanks for tuning in to Unlocking Real Estate, My First Commission. We hope today's stories and insights inspired you to take that next step in your real estate journey. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode, or head over to our channel to see some of the other content we've produced. We'd also love to hear from you. Drop a comment below with your biggest takeaway or a question for our next guest. If you have a recommendation for someone we should interview, please send a note to unlockingrealestate@colibrirealestate.com.